Surely you've heard of the Salem witch trials. But about 200 years before the old folk were terrified of witches, they were taking down werewolves. In other words, there were werewolf trials. Now, were there really werewolves? Yes or no? European courts convicted men and some women for turning into werewolves, mutilating and cannibalizing children. It turns out that some of the accused might have been actual pedophiles or serial killers, but most of them were beggars, hermits, or immigrants who were tortured to confess, and the punishments are sometimes as horrific as the alleged crimes. In Germany in 1589, executioners tied accused werewolf Peter Stump to a cartwheel, used hot pliers to tear off his skin, and decapitated him before burning his body at the stake. Stump's head was then attached to a wooden post carved to resemble a wolf and displayed as a warning to those who wished to commune with the devil. Werewolf trials took place in many parts of Europe in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, motivated by superstition, religious and political conflicts, and the desire to find scapegoats to crimes. Most of the accused, like those beggars, hermits, or immigrants, ended up confessing to being werewolves and committing heinous crimes, unable to bear the torture. Historians suspect that some people were delusional or not intelligent enough to know what they were admitting to. Some may have been actual pedophiles or serial killers, but historical accounts are fragmentary and exaggerated. Centuries later, it's difficult to separate folklore from actual evidence or what people believed to be true at the time. The idea of being eaten by animals in this world or the next remained a common worry throughout the Middle Ages, writes Alexander Pluskowski in his book from 2015. The concepts of humans turning into wolves have been around for a millennia. In the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia in 2100 BCE, the hero abandoned his love when he learned that she had turned her ex into a werewolf. In Greek mythology, King Lycaon of Arcadia tested Zeus's omnipotence by feeding him disguised human remains and was turned into a werewolf as a punishment. His name is the origin of the term lycanthropy, used to refer to transformation into a werewolf and the illusion of becoming a werewolf, a mental condition recognized for centuries. Werewolves also appear in medieval folklore, but they're generally harmless figures who transform into monsters against their will and desperately seek to return to human form. Allegations that real people may have been menacing werewolves emerged in connection with the witch trials that spread across Europe in the 1400s. Authorities in the Valais region of Switzerland launched prosecutions on a large scale, accusing witches of causing crop failure, lameness, blindness, infertility, and impotence, as well as using the wolf form and stealing cattle. According to some accounts, hundreds of men and women were condemned and burned alive in Valais since 1428, often wearing a bag of powder around their necks. Any land they owned was automatically transferred to the king's local vassals, which may have motivated these charges. From the Alps, werewolf prosecutions spread to Franche-Comté in Burgundy, a densely forested area where villagers and livestock fell easily prey to real wolves. There, as elsewhere in Europe, political and religious upheavals increased tensions, and Christianity struggled to overcome pagan traditions in the region, creating fertile ground for paranormal accusations. In 1521, papal-appointed judges presided over several trials of alleged werewolves. Two shepherds, Pierre Bergot and Michael Verdun, confessed to making a contract with the devil in exchange for food, meeting a man in black who gave them an ointment that turned them into werewolves. Then they participated in witches' gatherings until midnight and hunted and ate children. Both were found guilty and burned at the stake, along with a third who refused to confess. Later, werewolf trials often featured similar details: men dressed in black, magical ointments, belts, or pelts, turning the defendants into wolves. attending a nocturnal witchcraft ritual late at night, and engaging in bloody witchcraft rampages. Witnesses allegedly testified to seeing large glowing eyes, long sharp teeth, and beasts running at superhuman speed. Challenging the power of the church, a secular parliament soon took charge of prosecuting werewolves, at one point encouraging citizens to gather armed with clubs, halberds, spears, muskets, and other clubs to track down the named werewolves wherever they can find them, capture, shoot, or kill them. A patrol in the eastern French town of Saint Claude found Gilles Garnier, an immigrant living in poverty in the woods, and accused him of mutilating children near Delay in 1573. After under torture, Garnier confessed to killing 4 children and their family and feasting on their bodies on a Friday. Garnier was burned alive despite some doubts about his ability to physically travel 60 kilometers from where some of the missing children lived. The Grand Inquisitor of Saint Claude, Henry Baguette, believed that a large group of witches and werewolves were terrorizing the community and ordered multiple arrests and prosecutions, with the charges often used interchangeably. And in 1598 alone, he passed down 17 death sentences. But he had to reconcile his legal view with the church's official view that only God can transform people and the devil can only create illusions. Noting that he had seen the confessed werewolves growling and jumping on all fours in the courtroom, Henry concluded that they were clearly under the devil's spell and therefore deserved to be executed as well. Courts sometimes called doctors to testify. A popular medical opinion holds that werewolves have confessed to suffering from melancholia, a type of depression that includes mania and delusion. However, some doctors pay homage to the devil and believe that Satan can cause such disorders by altering substances in the body. Modern medical experts theorize that some of the accused werewolves may have suffered from porphyria, which causes sensitivity to light, red teeth, and mental disorders, or hirsutism, a genetic disease characterized by excessive hair growth. Lycanthropy, believing one is a werewolf, can be caused by the intentional or unintentional consumption of herbs, mushrooms, or hallucinogenic folk concoctions. The werewolf trials continued sporadically throughout the 17th century in Germany, the Netherlands, and Eastern Europe, especially in isolated rural areas. But gradually, educated and upper-class people no longer believed in the devil or transformation into animals. In 1692, in Livonia, Sweden, an 80-year-old man named Theus was ridiculed in court when he claimed to be a werewolf and entered hell 3 times a year to fight witches and demons to ensure abundant crops. He was later convicted of practicing folk magic, sentenced to whipping, and banished for life. The threat of werewolves eventually faded out with the industrial age, and today, while there still might be fear of witches, most of us can take werewolves with some good humor. What do you think? Comment down in the section below and don't forget to like and subscribe.